So it's finally happened. Years after its initial release, I've finally been convinced to pick up Phase. What exactly made me change my mind? Find out coming up. Thank you for watching PDot TV, where you'll find tips, tricks, and tutorials for DJs and music performers. Now, let's get into the video. The DJ world was buzzing with Phase's initial announcement. For the first time ever, DJs were able to actually DJ on turntables without the need of any needles or cartridges. Coinciding with Shure discontinuing the M447, an industry favorite turntable cartridge, Phase seemed to come in at the perfect time. But it wasn't without its drawbacks. With its initial release, many early adopters of Phase suffered from a plethora of hardware issues. From remotes losing their charge fairly quickly, to the batteries in the remotes expanding and eventually breaking the remotes, to connectivity issues from the remotes to the receiver base. But the one big issue that I had personally that kept me away from purchasing Phase was the drifting issue. Many users over time would complain that the Phase remotes would eventually drift a little bit out of sync with the DJ software that you were using, making them not as responsive as they should be. This was especially an issue if you're the type of DJ that likes to scratch and cut and beat juggle and need that precise timing. And this actually stems from the way that Phase talks to the DJ software. Initially, what Phase did was the receiver would send actual time code into your DJ mixer or audio interface that would be interpolated by your DJ software, much like if you're using records or CDs or USB sticks that had the time code on it. But because Phase wasn't using the actual official time code, there were some issues and the control just was never as tight as using the actual official time code found on vinyl or CDs. But now that's all changed. Phase is now an official accessory for Serato DJ, meaning it can have tighter integration and there's no longer the need to serve the time code from the receiver into your mixer or audio interface. Phase will now behave much like HID mode for CDJs, meaning there's no audio being passed at all and everything is handled digitally. And as a gigging DJ, this is huge. No longer will you need to hook up RCA cables from your Phase receiver into your mixer or audio interface. Everything is handled via the USB cable from the Phase receiver directly into your laptop. This means setting up Phase is as simple as plugging in one USB cable from the receiver into your laptop. That means no more digging behind the mixer in a dark, crowded booth to plug in those RCA cables and getting the audio tech upset in the process. And the software side of the setup was just as simple. All it took was updating Phase to the latest firmware and then in Serato DJ, switching it from relative mode into the new wireless mode, which replaces the internal mode if it detects that Phase is connected to your computer. And that was it. No more need to juggle a bunch of cables to make sure that the receiver's hooked up correctly, and the response time is definitely improved. Now I know a lot of DJs were on the fence about picking up Phase for these exact reasons. And for me, with these new updates, I can see myself definitely moving to using Phase instead of using these old turntable cartridges. And with that, I'd like to ask the question of the day. If you were on the fence about picking up Phase in the past, what was the reason? Go ahead and leave that down in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you're looking for more tips, tricks, and tutorials just like this one, make sure to subscribe to this channel. And until then, I'll see you guys in the next one.